Okay, welcome to Year 8 Science Online with Henny van Vieren.
Hello, year 8s. Man, I'm so excited because I just recorded 2 lessons for you guys, and when I played it back, it didn't have any audio. Haha, lucky me. Anyways, so we are talking about nutrition, okay? And in the previous lessons, we talked about digestion and absorption. Can you guys all remember the difference between digestion and absorption? I hope so. So, where is the first part of your food journey where digestion takes place? Any ideas? In the mouth. So, what actually helps to break down your food in your mouth? The first thing that I can think of is saliva. Okay, spit. Inside your spit, you actually have little things like it's little molecules, but you can almost think of them as little robots that cut um, glucose off every single carbohydrate and breaking them down. And that enzyme is called amylase, and that amylase breaks down starch specifically. So that's the first one, is our spit. Okay, the second one is our tongue. Yep. So the tongue moves around the food so that it actually positions it under the teeth so that the teeth can then grind it down. Also, it pushes it flat against your hard palate. I'm sure a lot of you have had food in the past, like, I don't know, Cheetos or something that will kind of just disappear in your mouth when you push it against your hard palate. Anyways, and then lastly, what today's lesson is about is teeth. Okay, so your biters, and we are going to look closely at teeth. Okay, so here we go to the presentation. Alrighty, so looking at this Cape baboon. Now, the Cape baboon is a really, really cool baboon. Um, they are actually omnivores, and when you look at their teeth, it's very similar to human teeth, except, of course, for these enormous, enormous canines. Okay, and we call these ones canines. Okay, they are not fangs. All right, they are canines. That's what we call them. And the teeth at the back are there to grind things down and so forth. But yeah, I love this picture, and I'll talk about it again in the next lesson. But I thought it was great to be able to show you the teeth. So there are 3 main groups of teeth, or main types of teeth, that you need to know of. So I kind of put the molars together as the premolars and your molars. Now the molars are the grinders, okay? So they grind the food down. It's for chewing. So when you think about chewing gum, where do you chew your chewing gum? In the front of your mouth or on your molars? Always on the molars, isn't it? Then our incisors. Our incisors are the front 4 teeth that you have. Now look at the word incisor. Can you hear that it sounds like scissor? Incisor, scissor, it is for cutting. Alright, and then our canines. Alright, canines are the teeth that are slightly longer than the others, and in the baboon, those are the canines. And they are there to rip or tear. And they're very big in especially predators and carnivores, where they would rip and tear meat, whereas your incisors, your cutting teeth, is very big with herbivores that, for instance, need to cut leaves or cut grass to get that into their mouth to eat. And then their molars are there to grind them down. Okay, so as we just said, incisors are there to cut, your premolars are there to rip, your canines are there to tear, and your molars are there to chew. So you need to know these 4 and what they do. Now, how can I look after my teeth? So, it's quite easy. Brush your teeth twice a day. What does brushing your teeth twice a day do? Number 1, it removes the plaque, and plaque are basically germs that grow on your teeth. But also, number 2, it actually removes some of the food that's left over, that sits in the nooks and crannies around your teeth and behind your teeth and so forth. Excuse me. And by doing that, you're taking away the food for the bacteria. Okay, also try not to eat too many lollies or high sugar foods, because the bacteria that grow in your teeth, they love sugar, and that will damage your teeth if you eat too much of that. Furthermore, visit the dentist twice a year, and they will check up and make sure that your teeth are healthy, and if they need to do something, they can do it early intervention instead of very late intervention. Okay, so just for interest sake, this not too many lollies. I had a friend who was a dentist, and they had to travel up to northern Namibia once a month to go and look after some indigenous peoples over there and actually just give them dentistry. And they found that when the kids live more rural, in other words, more away from civilization, they didn't have bad teeth. And the reason why they didn't have bad teeth was because they didn't have any lollies. They ate their own food that didn't contain any lollies, so there wasn't a lot of sugars in their mouth for the bacteria. Now let's talk about what are good foods and what are bad foods. Milk. Milk contains what? Can you remember? It's one of the minerals that's in milk. Ca. So milk contains a lot of calcium, and calcium is the building block of your bones but also of your teeth. And then protein, very, very important. Okay, so protein is good for your teeth. Things like fish, also very good for your teeth. And then fruit and veg, definitely very good for your teeth. Okay, things that are not so good are all the lollies and all the sweet stuff, and unfortunately coffee and tea and chocolate and very refined carbohydrates. Okay, and things with high acid values. It's like really sour chews or zombie chews and so forth. If you do eat those, you need to brush your teeth afterwards, because the acid and the sugar is not a good combination in your mouth. Okay, so when we look at teeth, and you can see this guy has got really bad rotting teeth. But what causes cavities? Now, a lot of people think that the bacteria that live on your teeth, they want to eat your teeth, and that is simply not true. This picture over here of the guy using that jackhammer, that is a fallacy. That is simply not true. What the bacteria do is they're just sitting there and saying, hey dude, I want you to eat some more sugary stuff. And then when the sugar come into your mouth, or anything with carbohydrates come into your mouth, they actually eat the carbohydrates. So they are not there to break down your teeth. They are simply there to eat the carbohydrates and the sugars. But the problem is, what do they excrete as a byproduct? In other words, what do they wee out? And that is acid. And it's the acid that then dissolves your teeth. So it's the bacteria, they don't want to eat your teeth, but unfortunately they excrete acid because the acid is a waste product for them. And the waste product acid then dissolves your teeth, which is a big problem. And if you look at the rotting teeth over here, as it dissolves away the teeth, there's more spaces for the bacteria to hide. And if you have a cavity, the bacteria go in there. And as you brush, you can't get them out of the cavity anymore. So they just sit there and eat carbohydrates and eat sugars and produce acids and dissolve the teeth from the inside. That's why when a dentist wants to actually fill your cavity, they drill out the hole, make it bigger to remove all the bacteria, and then fill it with the filling. Okay, so the byproduct of the bacteria breaking down the glucose is the acid, and that is the stuff that breaks down your teeth. That is why we need to brush our teeth, to get rid of the sugar or the food for the bacteria, and also to get rid of their acid. Okay, let's look at the structure of a tooth. Now, the part that you can see in normal healthy teeth is called the enamel or the crown. Okay, so that's the white part of your teeth, enamel. Very, very hard stuff, very durable. Yeah. Then under that we have dentine or dentin. Okay, this is the living part of your teeth. Dentin is the living part of your teeth, and you can see that we actually have the root canal. Now these long things down here that looks like a fork, those are the roots. And then you have the root canal, which is, as the word says, a canal into the tooth, because this is living tissue, as I just said. And because it's living tissue, it needs blood supply and it needs nerves. So it needs to take away the carbon dioxide, take away the byproducts of respiration and so forth, and then bring nutrients and bring fresh oxygen to the teeth itself. So this part in here that's inside the dentin, that's called the pulp. And here's where it gets interesting, because if the bacteria sit here and they're producing acid, and the hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and the cavity gets deeper, and eventually it gets to very close to the pulp, and when it starts to grow into there, it's attacking directly the nerve cells, and this is when you get really, really bad toothache. So if you've ever had toothache, it's because these guys are being stimulated. Another reason why we get toothache is because between the tooth and the gum, sometimes we get bacteria in there, and that's why flossing is so important. But also, if you're brushing too hard, you can actually tear away the gum from your teeth and expose the sensitive areas down here. So that is having toothache that is not related to cavities, but because your gums are not in the best condition. So we shouldn't be brushing very hard. We should just be brushing often. Okay. My wife's dentist said to her that brushing, you need to think of it like the plaque is almost like yogurt, and you're brushing the yogurt off from like a fork or something. So it's not really hard brushing that's needed. It's just frequent brushing. Okay. We have the ligaments. The ligaments are the anchor cables, if you want to call it that keeps the tooth in place so that it doesn't fall out. We have the root canal, which is the canal that the nerves and the blood vessels travel in, and then we have the bone, and this is the bone of your mandible or your lower jaw, or it can be the bone of your maxilla, which is your upper jaw, and your teeth is basically recessed within this bone. Okay, so that's the structure of human teeth. So just to recap quickly, those three types of teeth: we have incisors, we have canines for tearing, incisors for cutting, premolars, and molars for chewing. Okay, so how do we keep our teeth healthy, guys? We brush regularly. Some people brush more than twice a day because we want to remove those bacteria and we want to remove the food. Visit the dentist, floss, look after your gums, and eat sensibly. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. In the next one, we'll look at some different animal teeth and how they relate to their diet. I'll chat to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.